Okay, there's two things. We can either punch a hole all the way through the side, and I would do it from like 1/3 up. So if if you divide up your piece in half, you want to kind of maybe move it up just a little bit. Anytime you hang a picture frame or you hang something like this, it's better to put the holes or the places that it's going to hang on the top third of your piece. If you do it too low, what will happen is the piece will kind of hang away from the wall too much. So the magic number is, if we divided the back, the length into thirds is where you'd want it to be. Okay, and you could do two things. You could poke a hole on the side. I'm just going to use my needle tool. I do have a hole punch tool, but obviously that's going to be difficult for you guys at home. But I'm I'm kind of punching this on an angle, kind of going in, because I don't really want it to be super obvious. And so I'm just going to wiggle the needle to make it a bigger circumference in there. Now remember, clay does shrink, so if you don't make the hole big enough, it might shrink so small that you won't be able to put wire through this hole. So this is one way. I'm going to show you the other way, so before you go crazy poking holes in your stuff. And I did it kind of at least a 1/2 inch from the edge, so I had the strength of that clay there. And then the other way I'm going to show you too, so don't wait until you see both ones to see which one you want to do, okay? I'm just trying to get a good... Now I would probably want to clean up this side just a little bit to like smooth it out so it doesn't look crazy. But it's angled down into the piece right there. And that way I can run a wire through there. If you want to be really safe, even I did only a 1/2 inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch into your piece, definitely will help. And then the other way would be to add some loops on the side. So I have a coil like this, and I can score slip on the inside. Huh? This is an alternative to a hole. So you can either choose, depending on what you want to do, you can do a hole. If you do a hole, you just don't want to do it too close to the edge. You want to make sure you move in. The other way would be doing a loop. Well, actually, I'm going to show you two methods with adding a piece on the side. And I want to score it and slip it. And you can use your tool to help stitch it in. Okay, so then I have this, and I would do it on each side. Okay, so I would have 2 of those on there. The other way would be to make kind of like a, fix this clay, knead it. I'm going to make like a little tab. I don't want it to be too thin. Again, it's got to have some stability to it. I would score it. And attach it. You can use a reinforcement coil if you feel like you want something to help with the stability. Oops. Okay, and then poke a hole in that one. So then I have a hole, I would be able, so either way, you just want to have one on each side. So either poke a hole into your actual mask, create a loop ring, or do a little D. This was kind of like a D shape that I poked a hole into. But the key for these is that you want to make sure that they're really attached really well, so the scoring and slipping becomes really important. Okay, and then the other thing is if you do the hole inside of on your actual mask, you want to make sure it's like hot. You don't want it too close. A 1/4 inch is probably going to be too close because it might break out of that ceramic. So just do something maybe about an inch from the end. Okay, but this way, if whatever way I did, I can take a piece of wire and attach it, and I can hook it. Or I can just do 2 screws and hook it onto the screws, you know. But most likely a wire is going to be your best bet. And we're not putting the wire on until it's completely 100% done with firing. Okay, so those are your 3 options: poke a hole, create a loop, or do like a little tab with a hole punched into it. And those are things that you definitely want to be careful of when we start letting it dry out. We don't want to mess around with it too much. We want it to dry, get fired, and stay strong. If it feels like it's too weak, it gets too thin, you can always reinforce behind it. Inside here, I could build up a little bit more here. Behind it, score slipping it. I would score slip. I'm not score slipping. I'm just... So stacking it behind it is an additional reinforcement. Okay. So that is how you can add some supports for hanging. Okay.